What is up, guys? It is Jack, back up in this bitch with 10 Meters Fitness. I hope you're all having a fantastic day. In today's video, we are talking about amino acid profiles, the availability of protein, the completeness of protein, and is that important for building a lean athletic physique? And the answer to that is yes and no. Well, it is, but there's a way around it. It's what I'm going to eventually get to, and I'm going to give you a little demonstration, okay, a little example, a simplified model, if you will, to demonstrate that in a moment. But I'm going to first off, for people who understand what I'm getting at here, most of you will, I'm just going to explain what I'm talking about here, okay? Now, we all know protein is very important for building and preserving muscle, okay? It's the building blocks of muscle, as often quoted as. Well, taking that a step further then, amino acids are the building blocks of protein, okay? Like a Lego house is made of Lego bricks, protein is made of amino acids, okay? It contains different protein sources contain different amounts of these amino acids, like there's whole different names that I can't remember, but let's say like this one, different amino acids. A given protein source might be made up of lots of this amino acid, a little bit of this one, none of this one. And then protein source 2 will be made up of not a lot of this one, a lot of this one, and then loads of this one maybe, I don't know. The point is, different protein sources have different amino acid profiles. They contain each amino acid in differing amounts. So what our body does is it breaks the protein down to get at these amino acids. So although it's often quoted as us having a need for this many grams of protein on a day-to-day basis, what that really breaks down into is we need a given profile of all these different amino acids. So we need so much of this amino acid, so much of this one, so much of this one, in differing amounts, and there are lots of these amino acids that make up proteins. Okay, feel free to rewind, pause that, go to Wikipedia if I've not explained that very well, I do apologise, but or I've talked too fast, whatever, but let's move on then. Understand that it does matter the complete profile of amino acids we are getting on a day-to-day basis, because the way it works is we need a certain amount of this one, a certain amount of this one, a certain amount of this one to build and preserve muscle effectively, and I have experienced this. Okay, earlier in the year I transitioned from being omnivorous to being a vegetarian, okay? I'm trying to cut out as much animal products from my diet as I can, which means cutting out some high-quality protein sources, because a lot of animal proteins is some of the best protein you can give your body. Okay, they're very complete proteins, a lot of them are very bioavailable, they give you a good mix of these amino acids. So I'm getting rid of not just good proteins, but I'm also reducing the variation of protein and amino acid sources that I'm getting. Okay, so what I found was eating gram for gram the same amount of protein as I was before. So I wasn't getting less protein, even doing that, getting the same amount of protein, because it was from less varied sources, I was getting less complete amino acid profile. That meant that I had a harder time building and preserving muscle than when I had a more varied diet. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying vegetarian diets don't work for bodybuilding or fitness. They do, you just need to be smart about it. And the approach that I took to get around that was, I just ate more protein overall. And I'm going to go ahead and explain now through a simplified model how and why that works. Okay, so to get into the model then, let's say, for the sake of simplicity, we have two protein sources to choose from. Protein source 1, protein source 2. And let's say, for the sake of simplicity again, that there are only two amino acids that make up protein. So let's say then that we need, I don't know, we need 120 of amino acid A and 120 of amino acid B on a daily basis to build muscle optimally. Okay, that's what we need. Now, we make that up by choosing different combinations of protein source 1 and 2. Okay, those are what we make our diet of, okay, essentially. So let's say, okay, the most efficient way of doing that then is going to be getting 30 grams of protein source 1, 30 grams of protein source 2. Okay, so 30 grams of each, make that up, that's 60 grams of protein. And I'm not going to say you should eat 60 grams of protein, just a simplified model, okay, but the principles apply with regard to diversity of protein sources. Okay, so the most efficient way of doing this is eating 30 grams of each, 60 grams overall. Okay, however, let's say we take that diversity away, as I did when I became vegetarian. Let's move protein source 2 from the diet, okay, because let's say that was beef or whatever. Let's say protein source 2 is removed from the equation, so we can only eat protein source 1. Notice to get that same quota of 120 amino acid A and 120 amino acid B, we now need to eat 120 grams of protein source 1 to make up for that. Whereas before we only needed 60 grams, but we can make up for it because of the diversity, okay, because, you know, they each have differing amounts, they have like different amounts of amino acids. Because we only have one, we notice that it's weak in amino acid B, but that's all we have to work with, so we need to eat a lot of it just to get that 120 of each quota. And we notice that we get if we're eating 120 grams of protein source 1, we get 120 B, but we get like 3 times that in A. But that's something we have to put up with, that's something we have to do to get the same amino acid profile, the optimal amino acid profile. So understand that although I'm not getting that variation, I make up for it by eating just enough of it to satisfy the quota, essentially, because it does contain the ones we need just in tiny amounts, so we need to override that by eating loads. So that's kind of how I did it with vegetarianism. I upped the the protein level overall in my diet, so I started eating more grams of protein to make up for the fact that my diet was less diverse. I had least to choose from, and I was getting a less complete amino acid profile, albeit the fact that I was having the same grams of protein as it was when I was including a lot more animal products. Okay, so obviously in the real world, like I say, it's more complex than that. There's a lot of different amino acids, there's not just 2. There's a lot of different protein sources to choose from, obviously there's not just 2. And they all contain differing amounts of amino acids in different variations, and in reality we require different amounts of all these different amino acids, but the same principle applies, okay? If you take away diversity, if you take away the different amounts of proteins and their completeness, you're going to need to make up for that if you want to have the same effect by eating more overall and going way over in certain ones. But that's okay as long as you're getting that optimal minimum quota for optimal muscle building and preservation. Okay, that was a lot to remember and keep on top of, but I do hope I explained that effectively. If not, do feel free to go back, rewind, pause the video and look at the graphics I'm going to put on screen. Hopefully I can explain it a bit better, but as always, thanks for watching guys, that's all I have to say on that for now. I've been Jack pretending it's fitness. Check out my sponsors, thealphacore.com, for awesome fitness clothing. Use discount code JACK10 for money off over there. But once again, thanks for watching guys, I've been Jack pretending it's fitness. I'll see all of you in the next one.